This is John from John Asch Contracting, third generation residential roofing specialist. I just said all of that with no script out of my head. Anyhow, this is a short video. Somewhere in the early 80s, I started building homes. That was a dumb idea. But back in the 80s, I didn't know yet it was a dumb idea. So anyhow, building homes. I built 7 homes altogether. And after I was done, I swore I would never build another house again. Built for myself maybe, but not for anybody else. Nothing but aggravation. Here's a house over here, or here, somewhere. Here's a house. And we built this house in Spotswood. This is back in the 80s. It's hard to remember the address. It might be somewhere near New York and what's that? And Brooklyn Avenue in Spotswood. It's on a corner house. If anybody's really interested, I'm sure you're not. I'll find the address for you. But here's the story anyhow, whether you're interested or not anyhow. Went to Howell, to an architectural firm, and bought blueprints of a house that we could build. And these are already existing blueprints, so they're kind of cheap. Maybe they were $500 back in the day. You take the blueprints, take them to the building department, the zoning officer, and all the township authorities, and they look over the blueprints and they authorize you to build this house. They sign off on it, you get a stamp, and you're off. So now we build a house. We go through the usual inspections and whatnot, and near the very end, only a couple days before we're ready to close on the house and get my money, we had the inspector come down for the final inspection, and I failed. I'm like, well, what? I failed inspection. Well, what did I fail for? He says, this house has a basement. I'm like, yeah. And he says, you are in a 100-year flood zone. You're not allowed to put a basement here. I said, but I got blueprints that were signed off by your office, stamped and all kinds of fancy stuff. And it says I can put a basement. He says, let me see the blueprints. I show him the blueprints, and he says, yep, yep. I'm like there, oh boy. And make a long story short, he says the person that signed these blueprints no longer works in our office and hasn't for a few months. I'm the new guy, whether it be building inspector or zoning officer or whatever he was. And I said, yeah. He says, so this house can't be here. You can't have a basement. I said, well, that's a problem. I said, I'm broke. I'm supposed to get my money back in a couple of days. So make a long story short, what we had to end up doing, the way out of this where this person will be satisfied, we had to bring in truckloads of dirt, dump truckloads of dirt. And here's the house. Here's your lawn. Right next to the house, we had to raise the dirt and put it on an angle. So when it rained outside, the water would run away from the basement that might flood every 100 years. But the problem, when you do that with the dirt, now the dirt is burying your driveway, which is right next to the house. It's burying the front sidewalk, which is right by the house. So now you have to get cobblestones put in. And here's your house. You go up maybe 14 inches, come down an angle, down. And over here you put your cobblestone that sticks up 6 inches on both sides of the driveway, both sides of the sidewalk. Now, I'm supposed to close in the house in 2 or 3 days. I got nobody lined up to do cobblestone, and I didn't have time to check prices. Like anybody else as a builder, you check for get the lowest price or a good price. Didn't have time to do that. I had to pay through the nose, as they say. Yes, that's my nose. I had to pay through the nose, and don't remember now, it's been a lot of years ago, but I lost money in that house. My profit margin wasn't that great. By the time I paid for the truckloads of dirt and the guy to put the cobblestones in and replant the grass and everything else, lost money on that house. Anyhow, I built 6 other houses and had many other interesting and unique aggravating problems. That's for the next video. Ta-ta.